Welcome back right here on The Exchange, where your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. More friendly regulations in doing business are among the many factors considered by those planning to invest in the local industries. What improvements can be done at the sector level? Let's now have an exchange with Semiconductor and Electronics Industries in the Philippines President Danilo Lachica, joining us now on the line. Dan, thank you so much for joining us. Share with us how many foreign semiconductor companies are now in the Philippines, Dan?
The manufacturing companies in the Philippines as members of SAPI are 103 out of the 350 members we have. And these are the multinationals and local companies combined. Americans, Japanese, Koreans, and other multinationals.
So 103 companies. How does this compare, Dan, with our regional neighbors such as Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, and Singapore? Where do most of them, where do we stack up?
Well, it's not so much as the number of companies, but the sizes of the companies as well. We used to lead the region, but right now, most of the investments are going to our ASEAN neighbors, just like Vietnam and Thailand and Malaysia.
Why have we lagged behind now our Vietnamese and Malaysian neighbors in terms of manufacturing facilities for semiconductors and electronics?
Well, that's a good question, Rico. And this may not be a popular answer, but I think a lot of this, and I've warned the previous administration that while the CREATE law is good for domestic companies in terms of reducing corporate income tax, the incentives rationalization really can pose problems because, we have high operating costs like power, logistics, cooling water, and the incentive structure before was offsetting or mitigating some of that. But with the transition period that we're facing, used to be 10 years now, going on 9, it kind of dampens the enthusiasm of multinationals.
But of course, we've seen over the first 11 months of the Marcos Jr. administration, he's been going to more than 10 countries trying to attract foreign investors into the country. Is there really that attraction in the country with this red tape, with our bureaucracy, with the high operating costs, the high taxes? Is there really an attractiveness to invest in the manufacturing sector with all of these issues on hand?
The good thing, Rico, is that the electronics market caters to the global market. So, it's not like we have to just cater to the domestic demand, but to the overall global market. So that's the good part of it. And we're actually growing at a modest clip, about 5%, 7%. But if we are to catch up with Vietnam and our other neighbors, we have to do something drastic to kind of assure them that the investment climate is okay, the ease of doing business, where the government is doing something to manage the cost. And I think that's part of our challenge for SAPI, our industry association, is to have this continuous dialogue with the Marcos administration to help them understand the specific needs of the industry, of the sector, so we can address the needs or the concerns of these investors.
But why has it been difficult to improve the ease of doing business in the Philippines? We've been talking about this administration after administration and after administration. Why does the bureaucracy continue to still be so fat? I mean, why? I mean, this will definitely, if we continue to ease doing business, improve setting up shop, like in Singapore, Malaysia, it takes less than 1 week to set up a business. Why do we continue to face so many hurdles with our local government officials?
Well, I think the big problem with the previous administration is they didn't listen to industry, to the stakeholders. In fact, we cautioned them that not to disrupt the incentives scheme. And the other thing is we provided inputs on how we can improve the ease of doing business, like data automation. And you're right, we've talked about it for a long time, and nothing has really happened. And that's why we're still optimistic that the new administration will listen. In fact, the fact that there is a secretary assigned to listen and implement the suggestions of the industry, that's a good news. So I'm still hoping to get an audience with Frederick Go to give him our specific recommendations.
Listening is one thing, action is another thing. Dan, do you
Yes.
see
Yes.
serious political will from this administration that it will implement the changes that you would want so we can attract more foreign investors, more semiconductor companies, especially the multinational ones, into the Philippines, which will create more jobs for our kababayans?
Yes, as you know, we've registered $49 billion in 2022. That's export dollars, right? It's actually bigger than OFW remittances and BPO from the BPO industry. And we think we can do more. The thing is, with the previous administration, they talk about increasing investments in the Philippines, but they're comparing it to the previous years, right? What we should be looking at is how we're faring with our ASEAN neighbors. I mean, we're a fraction of what they get. And again, like you said, the ease of doing business is a big concern. For example, if you a corporation applies for a new business in Singapore, it'll take maybe 1 to 3 days. In Singapore. In Vietnam, maybe a couple of weeks. But in the Philippines, 2 months, 1 to 2 months, that's just a long time, right? Well, the government right now, for example, says there's a green lane, that's still about 8 weeks. And comparing, and also there's a limit, there's a minimum of $1 billion. There's no such minimum for other countries, and there has been improvement. Like, for example, this recent move of DOF to the help of DTI to reduce the value-added, to designate zero value-added tax for export-related industries. That's a good sign, but this is just one of the things that we could work on. The data automation, I mean, we've long pushed for automation of data at BOC, at BIR. That still hasn't happened. And of course, the perennial problem with corruption, right? It's still there. It's just a matter of degree. So there's a lot of things that we hope we could provide inputs to the new administration.
Thank you so much for this local business exchange, SAPI President Danilo Lachica. And before we go, here are words from American inventor Charles Kettering. There exists limitless opportunities in every industry. Where there is an open mind, there always will be a frontier. And this is the exchange to make sense of the facts and the figures and the ups and downs of the business cycle, because your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. Thanks for watching CNN Philippines. News you can use. News you can trust.